let's talk about them. So I have quite the collection of all of these empty bags of edibles because I really wanted to make a video talking about the last year and a half of exploring edibles in the wake of getting off of my anti-anxiety medication. I've tried like a bunch of these edible THC cannabis products and have helped a lot of my friends find things that help them ease into circumstances that kind of cause them a lot of stress and anxiety. So I figured I would just take what I've learned, share it with you, spread the information a little bit, make it available so I don't have to repeat myself again. Let's get into it. We're gonna start this whole thing with my 5 favorite and most recommended edibles to my friends because, you know, you're my friend and this is what I recommend to you. So first and foremost, like as a baby step, are these mango THC free Charlotte's Web edibles. They're just CBD, so you don't have to go into a dispensary to get them. Big fan of these if you feel kind of like, if you're still feeling a lot of stigma around cannabis in general. Of course, if you're not feeling that stigma, I'm a big fan of Wylds. I've been able to find these in most shops. They do have THC, but they're for so many styles and ratios that you can find something that is like very palatable. These Pear gummies are my personal favorite though. They're much higher potency, so I usually just like have a quarter or like a nibble of it. And it has this kind of relaxing like beer and a half, maybe 2 type of effect that I'm super into at like the end of a long day. Third are these Camino socials. I love these things. I take them everywhere with me. They're 2 milligrams of THC and 6 milligrams of CBD. For me, this particular mixture is just super great. It makes me feel really happy to just be wherever I'm at. I feel unencumbered and enthusiastic. It's like a really positive social lubricant for me and a lot of people that have enjoyed it with me. Fourth are these Lost Farm strawberries. Not only do they taste fabulous, I love these things, they also are that very kind of elevated, fun, casual kind of feeling. They are very strong. Each one is about 10 milligrams. So I quarter these because I honestly hate feeling high. So a quarter of these is like perfect for me. And final of the top 5 are these Lost Farm Black Raspberry CBN edibles. These are maybe one of the most fabulous things I've ever tasted. They're really good and they will knock you the fuck out. It is so great. Again, pretty high potency. They're 10 milligrams each, so I take about a quarter, and that is enough for like in 30 to 40 minutes to just drift warmly off to sleep. Now, science seems to be showing that the effects of THC long-term on your sleep can be pretty bad. So I use them occasionally, a lot like someone might use melatonin. Okay, so those are my top 5. That's like the TLDR on kind of where I started the conversation with all of my friends who were curious. And I thought I'd interject a story here. I mentioned not liking the feeling of being high. And in fact, this is something that actually scares me with any of these. The first time I was high in college, I had such incredible paranoia that I called my Baptist mother to pick me up from our college recording studio because she was the only person that I trusted to not like cause me harm in my inebriated state. And while she didn't cause me harm, she was a real fucking nuisance. I was so put off to the whole thing that I really didn't try it again for like another like 10 years maybe. And my second experience was just like the first. I was in this comatose panic all night long. Figured that's it. I'm done. I've had my experiences. I'm totally out of this game. But I give it one more chance with my brother-in-law at the 20th anniversary Death Cab for Cutie conference. He had some edibles and I was like, you know what? I always smoked too much. But maybe if I just take like 1/6 of this thing, it'll take the edge off and it'll be super fun. And that was it. The rest is history. I have enjoyed this like tiny little microdosing of THC ever since. The ability to measure was like really important for my enjoyment of it. And while it's never an exact science, different strains, distillate versus rosins, different techniques in measuring, it can all be a little bit different. I always feel like it's pretty close and inside of the bubble. 2 to 3 milligrams is about my happy place. And anything outside of that, you're just gonna see me in a corner just staring at a wall, trying to figure out who in the room is gonna hurt me first. Now that anxiety piece actually brings us naturally to strains. Cannabis is a wildly diverse plant. There are strains that are highly activating, cerebral, paranoia-inducing, creative strains. These generally fall into the category of sativa dominant strains. And then on the other side are indica strains. These ones are very relaxing, often referred to as a body high versus a head high, frequently paired with sleepy time types of edibles. That distinction is super important when you're looking for something to help you either regulate down or regulate up. Now, because I'm so sensitive to all of this, I really like to find edibles that have the strain information available to you. Not all of them do. Some of them just have like a vibe, like this one's deep sleep, social, balanced. Kind of abstract that whole thing away from you and just give you a mood that you're after. And for that reason, I find the Camino edibles a really nice entry point. These are all made by the parent company Kiva, which generally makes all of my favorite edibles. Talked about social already, like pretty light on the milligrams of THC, some CBD, really nice to take the edge off at social events. This balanced one has twice as much THC, and this is a very relaxing one. Most often do like a half, as noted by the half on the top there, but distinctly less social. And then we have these deep sleep sours. I take about a quarter of these. It's not my favorite, but they'll get the job done. Now, if you're interested in precise strains, as I am, Lost Farm is a very interesting product also by Kiva. There are two things that I really like about these. One, they tell you which process that they use, their live resin or solventless live rosin, and they include the strain. So you can determine if it's a strain that you like, or disregard the strain entirely. They also have a lot of information on the back, which is just a loose descriptor of the strain. These taste immaculate. It's a more confectionery, experimental brand of Kiva. As a nerd who appreciates expertise and craft, I'm super into. Now, they come in two styles. There's the Starburst style, which are like an adult Starburst, and the gelatin gummy style, which is like a gelatin gummy. On the gummy side, we already talked about the black raspberry with CBN. Using the Northern Lights strain is my favorite for sleepy time. Super great. Peach Fizz featuring the sativa dominant hybrid mimosa. This is an all-time for me. I have gone through so many of these little containers. A quarter of one of these is one of my favorite ways to kick off a day if I'm not feeling it. Yuzu Fizz features Sour Dream. I have found this one a little anxiety driving, so definitely not a favorite for me, but I do appreciate that this one is a live rosin. If you're keeping track, live rosin is probably the cleanest extraction. I think they just use heat and water as opposed to butane or some other chemical process. Which brings us to the Starburst style Lost Farms. Blueberry is a chew using the Blue Dream strain. This is a sativa dominant hybrid that I have also found to be a little bit anxiety driving, so not a favorite for me. What is my favorite though is this watermelon, which uses Gelato strain. This is a really balanced hybrid, and man, I love these. Positive social energy, bringing me up just a little bit, helping me not care a lot. It's great. Another balanced hybrid that I love is the Pomberry using Kush Mints Punch. Now, I actually don't like the taste of these. They're kind of like chocolatey and weird a little bit. I don't really like minty chocolate that much. That said, we're willing to put our differences aside because they are very arousing. And 41, sometimes that helps. Now, speaking of arousing, these are probably the most intense edibles I've ever tried. Mango, so they're absolutely delicious. Solventless, so they're super clean. It is a pure sativa strain, and it has THCV, which is extremely activating. These are weird. Even a little bit of these can get me crazy high, and so I tend to stick away from these because for like 3 hours, I'll just be outside of my body. Go for a run, do my laundry, empty the dishwasher, and just check the clock like literally every 30 seconds. These are too crazy for me unless you like really enjoy the feeling of like hyper ADHD. Now let's talk about CLSICS, a San Diego company that does some really amazing stuff. First one that I tried from CLSICS was this Midnight Cereal. It's a sleepy time one, and I found it just a little bit too cerebral and activating for me. I did find that it kind of brought me down, but like my head was going quite a bit. So not my favorite sleepy one. What is one of my favorites though, as a San Diegan, is this pink lemon up hybrid. It tastes a lot like a In-N-Out lemonade, which is great. And I find it activating without being hyper activating, which is really nice. Now, one thing that I really like about CLSICS is they have different styles of all of their products. So you can get the same product in an edible form, a tincture form. I don't have it here, but you can also get them as vaporizers or pre-packed blunts. As I've been trying to avoid unnecessary sugars, I've been using this tincture, and it's been great. Just gotta be really careful because there's like 1,000 milligrams in this bottle. damn. But like 3 drops is what I'm after. Now, I know that not everyone has access to dispensaries, and so these are a couple that I actually got from a grocery store. As I mentioned earlier, these Charlotte Web CBD gummies are one of my favorites for just general chill. They sell them in health food stores because they help with relaxation and also recovery and inflammation. And oftentimes in health food stores, you can even find something with a little bit of THC in it. These PLUSCBD edibles, although not my favorite, were picked up in a general health food store. And because they come from a hemp plant and they have 25 milligrams of CBD to 5 milligrams of THC, something about that ratio means that they're like legal to be sold inside of just a general health store. I don't know. I don't make the rules. Now, there's a handful of other edibles that I just threw away, predominantly because a lot of them are just really syrupy and gross tasting. We also didn't talk about vaporizers or carts, or even raw flower for that matter. I find that I'm just generally nervous about inhaling things, especially for something that's so unregulated as cannabis products. I've explored there a little bit, but find that either companies don't test their products for toxins and whatnot, or they do and they just don't taste very good. And the ones that I found that actually were the perfect intersection of things that I was looking for, I go through so little that the cartridges or vaporizers would just start to taste stale well before the end was even in sight. Okay, so I think that we covered everything. I can finally get rid of some of these empty bags now that we did. So if you made it all the way to the end, let me know what some of your favorite edibles are and the strains that you really like, especially if they help you, relax and be sociable and fun and awesome. That's really what I'm after.